was great to see right out of the gate we could respect the SDR team's talent and expertise, and we just knew very quickly we're in good hands.
A lot of business owners believe that they're going to lift their head up, someone's going to make them an offer, and they're going to negotiate themselves, and then they're going to have a ridiculous amount of money wired to their bank account. They're going to leave the keys to the headquarters underneath the mat, and then they're going to go off into the sunset. And that is the furthest thing from reality.
Even in having a great buyer, selling a company of this size presents a lot of challenges. Things like antitrust laws and how long the transaction can take and waiting periods. And some people are staying on for longer than others. Some people want to reinvest in the new company. Some people want to take some chips off the table. So that provided a myriad of challenges that we have to work with all sorts of attorneys, accountants, create a real holistic team of advisors.
You mentioned we had great legal counsel and tax specialists. All of those people that we found was found because of SDR's network of people they knew, and they brought in people for us to interview, and we collectively interviewed SDR and then Red Dot to be able to get the right partner in each of these specialties. Doubt creeps into this process when you feel like you don't understand something. You have to walk me through understanding something before I can feel confident about it. And Adam definitely did, and his team were great teachers, and just the interaction, the collaboration was, I think, fantastic.
What you're saying is really meaningful to me in leading the organization, because our ethos and DNA over 24 years is to have that alignment. And tragically, within investment banking, it's not common.
You have to invest in each other very deeply and be able to go all night long looking at spreadsheets and navigating those conversations. And that was a really fun relationship. This was the right buyer. This was a phenomenal outcome. It was clear from the very beginning of our process with this buyer that they were well yoked and that this was going to be a great outcome in the long run.
We've had a very cordial negotiation, but there were times when it was a little tense, and that it was critical for us to have the relationship we need moving post-sale, to have someone representing Red Dot to be able to do some of those tough negotiations on my behalf.
My goal is that the buyer and seller come out of this transaction really liking each other. You have to be comfortable with being the guy that people are not happy with. And so, for example, if Ted's frustrated, I want them to call me and take it out on me.
Adam and his team had the expertise to be able to know what to ask for and when, and they could take emotions out of it. One thing Adam provided and the SDR team provides is that just kind of a stable presence where they're an advocate for us, but they're also a counselor for us. And they can guide us through this emotional minefield.
Going through these deals, you can get so weary through the process, and it's all external stuff. Those can lead to frustrating conversations that we don't even know what we're arguing about. If the buyer's frustrated, I don't want him to take that out on the seller.
And let me say, as someone who is, you start seeing the finish line, like, okay, I don't want to do anything to screw it up. I want the most value possible, but I don't want to insult the buyer. As a seller, like, oh, I need to have a good relationship, not just post-close, but I don't want to blow it here. And so as a seller, I can't afford to insult the buyer, and I need someone who's advocating for me. You can do it in a way that's professional. It can be cordial, but if it's tense, Adam takes the burden on my behalf.
And there's a real nuance to what you're saying, Ted. The clients that we work with at SDR are founders, they're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And more often than not, this is the one and only sale of a business they'll ever have. And so you have someone where it's a one-time event where everything is new, including the negotiating and the legal side. And then you have someone on the other side of the table that this is what they do for a living. This is every day.
Yeah. There's no way that I believe we could have handled this sales transaction process, which took 1.5 to 2 years, and run a company, a successful company, a growing company. Something would have many things were falling through the cracks if we had tried to do it ourselves, and we weren't capable of doing it. Even though we are very smart people, we're not smart enough to be able to handle the investment banking side, of representing ourselves, then going through the negotiations from IOI to LOI, and then the due diligence and all the things that go through that. That is pretty intimidating.
It's not lost on us that this is the single biggest event from a financial standpoint that you'll ever make.
That's right.
It is this heart's desire as stewards to understand your priorities and your values and meet you where you're at and then give you options. That's in part what separates us, is this ability to think creatively and identify some different options that maybe weren't even on the table.
The buyer that we ended up selecting, we actually got a valuation on the business that we transacted at that was 40% higher than their initial offer a few months before. And we got that up through a number of things. We got that up through a competitive process. More than anything, we got that up through showcasing what Red Dot was going to become in the long run. And I think it's important to note that people buy businesses for what they are going to become, but they pay for what they have been.
My team helped create the success that our family has now experienced. I owe them a debt of gratitude where I'm going to spend my time helping set them up when I truly hand the baton off. Our buyer, who is now our majority owner, will say that they feel great about it and that everyone's optimistic about the future.
At SDR, we feel it's what ultimately matters most. How do we maximize the potential to meet your priorities and also your values?